On the evening of February 11, American citizen Marc Fogel, who had spent over 3 years in a Russian prison, returned to the United States. He was welcomed at the White House, with the event considered significant enough to be broadcast live on the official White House channel.
I feel like the luckiest man on earth right now. And I want you to know that I am not a hero in this at all. And President Trump is a hero. These men that came from the diplomatic service are heroes.
Marc Fogel, a U.S. teacher, was arrested at Moscow's Sheremetyevo airport in August 2021 after authorities found 17 grams of medical marijuana in his luggage. The drug has been legally prescribed to him in the U.S. for chronic pain relief. However, Russian law enforcement accused him of allegedly using his diplomatic status to establish a drug trafficking channel in the school where he worked. In the summer of 2022, Khimki City Court sentenced him to 14 years in a high-security penal colony, convicting him of drug smuggling and possession. Now Fogel has been released as part of a prisoner exchange. In return, Moscow will receive a Russian citizen who had been serving a sentence in a U.S. prison. The Kremlin stated that this individual would be freed in the coming days, but did not disclose their identity.
Thank you all. And I love our country, and I'm so happy to be back here.
Fogel returned to the U.S. alongside Steve Witkoff, Trump's special envoy to the Middle East, who, according to the New York Times, has also been tasked by the U.S. president with playing a role in efforts to resolve Russia's war against Ukraine. President Donald Trump described Fogel's release as the beginning of a relationship with Russia.
I think this could be the very important element. You could be a big part of it, actually, because it could be a big important part of getting the war over with Ukraine. Donald Trump, President of the United States.
Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelenskyy, in an interview with The Guardian, stated that he is unaware of the details of the new White House administration's interactions with the Kremlin, but hopes that the U.S. will meet with Ukrainian officials before engaging in talks with Russia.
The most important things are President Trump's determination, strong actions, quick decision-making, and clarity. Decisions must be made from a position of strength. I believe this is exactly what we need to force Putin to stop the war. Acknowledge that it was a huge mistake, and find a path toward a just peace for Ukraine.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has admitted that in case of negotiations with Russia, Ukraine might propose exchanging Russian-held Ukrainian territories for areas in Russia's Kursk region, currently controlled by Ukrainian forces. However, the Kremlin has already dismissed any discussion of territorial swaps and has vowed to push Ukrainian troops out of the Kursk region. Russia is in principle ready to negotiate a ceasefire in Ukraine, but only as a temporary measure to regroup, as Vladimir Putin has not abandoned his imperial ambitions. This assessment comes from Kaupo Rosin, Director General of Estonia's Foreign Intelligence Department.
Putin likely views a resolution to this conflict as achievable only through a Yalta-style agreement, that is, dividing Europe into spheres of influence, from a report by the Estonian Foreign Intelligence Service.
At the Ukraine Defense Contact Group meeting in the Ramstein format, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte emphasized that the alliance must do more in terms of arms supplies. He stated that Ukraine's strength on the battlefield directly translates into its strength at the negotiating table.
There is also a large agreement between all allies that we have to make sure that Ukraine has what it needs in terms of training, in terms of military equipment, to make sure that whenever peace talks start, they can do that from a position of strength. Mark Rutte, Secretary General of NATO.
During a meeting in Paris with U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen stressed the importance of continued unity in supporting Ukraine. This call for unity is particularly relevant given, as President Zelenskyy pointed out, that Russia has no interest in peace and demonstrates this with every missile attack on Ukrainian cities. Reported by Serhiy Kulas, Natalia Husak, Volodymyr Shtengyelov, UATV News. The United States has made progress in negotiations to end Russia's war against Ukraine, US President Donald Trump has announced. However, he declined to disclose any details regarding negotiations with Russian dictator Vladimir Putin. On February 9th, Trump stated that he had held a phone conversation with the Kremlin leader. Western media have noted that this could be the first officially acknowledged conversation between Putin and a US president since the start of Russia's war against Ukraine.
I've had it. Let's just say I've had it. And I expect to have many more conversations. We have to get that war ended. I do believe we're making progress. We want to stop the Ukraine-Russia war. Donald Trump, President of the United States, in the commentary to the media.
Trump also emphasized his commitment to bringing both sides to the negotiating table. The pressure Moscow into participating, the US president plans to create leverage against the Kremlin. Trump's special envoy on Russia and Ukraine, Kate Kellogg, previously stated that this would include new sanctions on the oil and gas sector. Trump's national security advisor, Michael Waltz, also outlined plans to target the aggressor state's economy with the help of countries cooperating with Russia.
I told Donald Trump, you will see, if we don't have security guarantees, we will end up with a frozen conflict. We have already been through this. Once again, I must stress, Putin does not want to end the war. And when someone is so determined to keep the war going, you cannot take half measures with them, because they will simply use it as an opportunity to return.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy also underscored the importance of sanctions in crippling Russia's war economy in an interview with UK broadcaster ITV. However, according to Zelenskyy, Donald Trump has yet to present a clear plan for ending the war. The Ukrainian president reiterated that he remains in contact with the US president and continues to insist that Kyiv must receive serious security guarantees once Russian aggression comes to an end. I told Donald Trump, you will see, if we don't have security guarantees, we will end up with a frozen conflict. We have already been through this. Once again, I must stress, Putin does not want to end the war. And when someone is so determined to keep the war going, you cannot take half measures with them, because they will simply use it as an opportunity to return. At the Munich Security Conference, which will take place from February 14th to 16th, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is set to meet with US Vice President J.D. Vance, CBS News reports. The discussions are expected to focus on a peace framework for ending Russia's aggression against Ukraine, as well as cooperation in the rare earth metals sector. Reported by Serhii Kulas, Andriy Dmitrenko, UATV News.